Good morning and good afternoon, folks. Thank you very much for joining our continuing series of webinars designed for automotive dealers. Hi, my name is JD Rivella, and I will be your host for the next 25 to 30 minutes. The topic today, inbound calls, how to make more appointments. Let me start off by letting you know that I will be first give you a quick overview and some real-time stats as to what is happening with inbound calls at dealerships. Then I will simply share a simple process to handle inbound inventory calls and to help you make more appointments. We have opened up chat. Please send us questions and we will reply to all of them today. If you prefer, you can also use an email by sending us your questions to moresales@autonetdealersolutions.com. At the end of the presentation, we will send you a quick 1-minute questionnaire that's completely anonymous to assess your views and suggestions on our presentation today. Plus, we will make available a telephone skills self-assessment evaluation tool to gauge what your teams are doing right or wrong with inbound calls today. Just reach out to us and we'll send you a copy absolutely free. Let's start by reviewing the current market situation of inbound calls to dealerships. Inbound sales calls. You hear them, but what percentage of those calls do you actually get to work? Who's deciding whether or not this is a quality lead and if the lead was handled effectively? I have heard more telephone calls sound like a suspect being interrogated than I can ever count. Dealership personnel don't realize it, but they become terse, cross, and sometimes just plain rude. Let me give you an example of how this is closer to home. I would dare say that nearly everyone can remember a point in their time in their life where they actually applied for a car loan and puckered, wondered whether it would be approved or not. Or you call to get a price and they immediately interrogate you for your name, phone number, what's your budget, are you ready to buy today? Does this sound familiar? Well, probably it does. The customers that are calling certainly have felt that angst more times than you. The instant that you build a barrier between them and their goal of obtaining the information they called about, the appointment opportunity ends. So, let's have a look at what's happening with inbound calls at dealerships to determine if the telephone is being overlooked. An aggregate total of data from one NADA study and Autonet Dealer Solutions combined paint a very unfavorable picture of how dealerships are handling inbound calls. 42% of dealership employees didn't even ask for the caller's name, and only 29% asked for an appointment, 34% a phone number, and an appalling 84% offered discounts on the phone to a customer you can't even follow up with. But there is good news, is that you can break from the pack today, and you're not alone. By following these steps that I'm about to outline here in the next few slides, you'll be able to make more appointments. But before we get going, let me ask you this question. How much money is your dealership spending monthly to generate inbound calls? In our previous webinar on October the 1st, we uncovered that calls to the dealership are king, and inbound inventory calls are of higher quality. Are you monitoring how your sales team are handling inbound inventory calls? Do you know the number of calls that are converted to appointments? If not, then consider a call tracking service that not only measures your inbound calls, but empowers you and your team to assess what needs improvement. Looking at this chart, I think it speaks volume of the potential of opportunities being overlooked from phone ups. It's all about process and attitude. As mentioned at the beginning, we have a telephone skills self-assessment quiz that will provide insights and direction on the areas that need improving. Please contact me at the end of the presentation. I will send you a link. How to make more appointments from inbound inventory calls. The first challenge with phone apps is train the people handling these calls to follow your phone up process. So let's get right into the process of making more appointments. The first step is attitude. Having the right mindset is everything when dealing with inbound inventory calls. You must begin to think, affirm, and believe, I only work by appointment. My objective is to make an appointment. Then you'll get great results, even though it might take some time to achieve your lofty objective. The right frame of mind equals the right result. The second step is a script. Consider using a script. If you're speaking with inbound inventory callers, having a script down packed, memorized, it's a great way to accomplish your objective of making more appointments. I've listed here some of the major benefits. Allows you to listen to responses rather than focusing on what you say. Extra listening allows you greater two-way communication and more effective results. It provides you with a structure to follow and keep on track, and a couple of more that I've listed there as well. And if you want to be as effective as possible in inbound calls to make more appointments, nothing, and I mean nothing, beats role-playing. Practice with your sales buddies at the dealership. I know it sounds odd, we're all mature adults, but role-play does work. If you're a manager, have your sales team call each other at the dealership to see how they do and have fun with it. Critique each other. You're all very well positioned to know what customers are calling inbound inventory calls are saying, what they're asking you for. Going through this exercise will make your team more effective at converting inbound phone ups and make more appointments. I guarantee it. Okay, so that was step number 2. So what's next? The third step is smile. Yes, you heard me right. Smile. Remember to smile when you pick up the phone. Even though an inbound caller can't see you, your tonality, enthusiasm is visible and can easily be picked up by the caller. Make your introduction a memorable one. Think of a radio ad. In radio ads, they dramatize a spot to create a mental visualization of a message. You know, they call this theater of the mind. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you 2 examples, which I'm going to dramatize. One, not a very good one, and one that the way it should be done. Here goes the first one. John speaking. What can I do for you? Versus, good morning. Thank you very much for calling ABC Automotive. My name is John Smith, Automotive Specialist. How may I assist you today? Did you hear the difference? This is your introduction. It's all about making a positive impression, making the caller feel at ease so that you can uncover their true intentions. But to do this, you need to listen to get the information. And this is our 4th step. Listen to get the information. Resist the temptation to butt in. Just listen and take notes to get the information. In the last step, you introduce yourself and the dealership, then you listened. If a caller didn't provide their name, then simply follow with, and your name is? If the inbound caller prefers not to provide their name, simply reply with, very good, no problem. Oh, by the way, my name is John Smith, and just in case we get disconnected, we can carry on the conversation. Your plan should be to enthusiastically collect the information given by the inbound caller, then request if you can get some clarification with the intent to qualify to set up an appointment. So, what information should I take notes on, you say? Well, other than the basic name, phone number, or email, there's 3 things that you should write down other than the basic. Number 1, what your customer wants. Number 2, what the customer doesn't want. And number 3, what your customer needs, which may be different from their wants. And let me expand on number 3. Customer may have provided you a list of options and a budget that is not realistic. You don't want to address it over the phone, as your goal is to be assertive with the information shared that leads you to an appointment setting position. Remember, never sell a vehicle over the phone. It just doesn't work. The customer called to ask questions about inventory or about a particular piece of inventory, not to be sold over the phone. You're likely to close the line of communication. You're simply gathering information with the objective to set an appointment. Step number 5, know your inventory. Did you know that 97% of inbound inventory calls are specific to a vehicle being seen on your website? So what do? Well, listen for emotional hot buttons. These are the most important items on the list of notes. We really do buy emotionally first and justify logically later. It's human nature. Customers often smile and giggle or gush when they mention certain features such as, I've wanted this for years, or I think they are absolutely a fabulous feature to have. These are the clues that will help you obtain the appointment. Leverage them to get it. In some cases, you may not even get the opportunity to speak, but when you do, courtesy goes a long way to building a rapport. Ask if it's all right to ask some clarifying questions and reiterate what was asked about the specific inventory. And here's an example. Are you on a website right now? Which vehicle was it you were looking at specifically? Let's look at it together. Okay, did you get the idea? So you're at a point after step 5, at a stage that the door's open. You started the lines of communication, and you're now going to look at the inventory together. So what's next? Qualify, qualify, qualify. This is our 6th step. Courteously ask clarifying questions with the same tonality you used previously. This approach will win every time, but listen for hesitations, objections, and hot buttons that can come at any time. I have listened to a few samples over the last year, and I've listed some of them here of best practice that you could use to try and set the appointment. For example, it has 20-inch wheels. Have you ever considered a test drive? It's all about getting the inbound caller to like you enough to disclose their true intentions. An inbound inventory call means this prospect is pretty far down the research funnel. Therefore, you have an excellent opportunity to obtain the appointment at this stage. If you do need to check on the availability of a car, check from your desk while the customer is live on the phone. On average, it takes about 8.6 tries to get a customer back on the phone. It's not uncommon to have a vehicle on your website with a pending offer on it, and it hasn't been delivered yet. Always take an opportunity to test the prospect's interest by telling them you're going to check the status to see if it's available. Listen to their comments and tone of voice. It will tell you a lot about their interests. It is part of the qualifying process. And if when you first picked up the call, they never offered their name, now is a perfect opportunity to obtain it. Ask for the name and telephone number, as I showed you earlier, just in case you get disconnected. What is your telephone number? You want to try at this point if they haven't provided you that information earlier. Step 7, asking for the appointment. Did you know that callers offered an appointment give some sort of commitment 88% of the time? And did you know that 4-to-1 is the initial call appointment rate versus a follow-up call? That's right. We've seen better success when getting the appointment on the first call instead of placing a follow-up call. The objective of all inbound inventory calls is to set an appointment, not just to give out information. For example, what works better for you? To come and look at the car today or tomorrow? What time's better for you, 2 or 4 p.m.? Think of conducting yourself as a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant. They make appointments, don't they? They don't dole out advice or talk about their entire range of fees over the phone. Why should you? Objections. Keep calm and handle objections. And I'm speaking specifically about objections to an appointment. We're not selling the product over the phone. This is step number 8, objections. Let's deal with the most common objection, the best price. These days seems like we're always in a buyer's market, but even at the time when the word value is used interchangeably with cheap and what is your best price, an inbound caller has a lot of power because the internet has leveled the playing field. If you're a dealer sales professional, gaining the upper hand during this common objection can make or break the appointment setting process. Notice I didn't use make or break the deal. You are in appointment setting mode only. There's a right time and place to negotiate, and it's at the dealership. You may have already collected enough information that helps you deal with this objection in a different manner. Let me give you another example. You mentioned that you have a trade-in. I would be happy to work out those numbers for you and provide you with the highest value for your vehicle. Offer them the soft appointment. What day works better for you, today or tomorrow, morning or afternoon, and so on. This helps you gauge how hot they are about this vehicle. Encouragement, empathy, enthusiasm, and positive attitude will get the appointment. You must always attempt to make appointments when you speak with inbound inventory callers. Let me give you another example. When you tell the inbound caller or customer you would like to reserve some time for them to make sure that you're available, they'll feel important and will most likely agree. If the inbound caller is hesitant to set an appointment because they don't know their schedule, try a tentative appointment. Set a tentative appointment with the most likely day and time as discussed before. Offer them a choice. Tell the caller that you have reserved that time slot for them and to call you if anything changes at their end. This technique is much better than not making an appointment at all, and it obliges the customer to call you if they need to reschedule. Step 9, is it a real appointment? Appointments must be real and never vague. In order to consider a real appointment, and this is kind of your double check, you need your customer's name, the first and last, a date, a time, and a location to meet. You should also attempt to obtain multiple contact numbers in case something happens at your end. Therefore, before the call ends, give directions and reinforce the appointment time. Ask if they know where the dealership is located. If not, give instruction to help them mentally place the dealership by using landmarks and imagery. For example, I'll see you at ADS Automotive across Walmart on October the 16th at 4 p.m. Very good. Get the picture? And the last step, step 10, is follow-up, follow-up. Before ending the call, follow with, I'm going to send you an email with some information on these cars and our appointment time. Should I send this to your work or home address? And that is? At Autonet Dealer Solutions, we have written very effective follow-up email letters for confirming appointments and thanking them for calling. Reach out to us if you'd like additional information. I'd like to share one last stat. Confirmed appointments are 3 times more likely to show than soft or tentative appointments. Fact. I'd like to summarize the 10 steps that I covered with you. Attitude, script, smile, listen, inventory, qualify, appointment, objections, is it a real appointment, double check, and follow up. I guarantee if you follow these steps, you'll make more appointments. Role-playing can't hurt and will make you better at making more appointments. Contact us to obtain a copy of the telephone skills self-testing evaluation to gauge how your staff are dealing with inbound calls.